Hey guys, if you like the sound of that lick, stick around and I'll teach you how to play it. Hey guys, Matt here, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. So for this video, I've written a lick in the key of A minor. And we're going to be using tapping along with a bit of string bending towards the end of the lick. So let's jump in and see what's what. Okay, so the start of the lick begins on the first string, and we're going to outline an A minor triad, which are the notes A, C, and E. And we're going to start off by hammering on or tapping with the left hand on the 5th fret on the first string, which is our root note A. Now, of course, you can pick this note if you want to, but the way I'm playing this is I'm going to hammer on the note with my first finger, and then I'm going to hammer on the 8th fret, which would be the note C, with my 3rd finger on the first string. Now you can of course use your pinky if you want to. I just favour using the 3rd finger for this particular phrase. Once we've done the hammer on from A to C on the 8th fret, we're then going to bring the right hand over and we're going to tap the 12th fret. Now I'm going to use my middle finger, but you can use your first finger. Doesn't matter which one you use. You just need to think about what you want to do with the pick. So if you're using the middle finger, obviously you can just keep the pick between your first finger and thumb. But if you want to use your first finger, then obviously you need to move the pick somewhere. You can either hold it between your middle finger and thumb, and then that allows you to tap with the first finger. So we're going to tap the 12th fret, and that'll be E, and that'll sound like this. So as I say, you can pick that first note if you want to, like so. And then bring your right hand over for the tapped note on the 12th fret. But you can just have your pick in hand already here and then just use the first finger to hammer on the first note. So once we've tapped the 12th fret, we're then going to pull off back to the 3rd finger and then back down to the 1st finger. So that will sound like this. So it's worth pointing out that when we hammer on with your 3rd finger and then tap with your middle finger or your first finger, you want to make sure you leave your 3rd finger down on the 8th fret so that you're ready to pull off back to that note once you finish the tap. So that first little phrase on the first string sounds like this. Okay, so this is where we're going to introduce the string change onto the 2nd string, and we're going to lead this in with the 3rd finger by hammering on onto the 2nd string of the 8th fret. All right, and the note we're hitting there is a G, so we're still inside that minor pentatonic scale. And once we've used the 3rd finger to hammer on G on the 2nd string on fret number 8, we're then going to tap the 12th fret again on the 2nd string though this time, and that's going to be the note B. So that will sound like this. Okay, and then once we've tapped the 12th fret, we're then going to drop back down to G. So again, leave your 3rd finger down. So we're ready to pull off that tapping finger from the 12th fret back down to fret number 8. So that will sound like this. And then once we've pulled off back to the 8th fret, we're then going to pull off the 3rd finger down to fret number 5, again on the same string, down to the 1st finger. So that's going to sound like this. So whilst we're hammering on with the 3rd finger and then tapping the 12th fret, what we want to do at the same time is make sure we get our first finger ready on the 5th fret of the 2nd string, so that by the time we're ready to pull off with that 3rd finger, the first finger's already there, ready to hold down string number 2. Those notes incidentally, so we've got a G on the 2nd string, we're tapping the note B, so that brings us into the A natural minor scale, so we're stepping outside of the minor pentatonic, and then we're pulling off back down to G on the 8th fret, and then down to E on the 2nd string of the 5th fret. So on the 2nd string so far, we've got this. So from the beginning, we now have this. So it's that 3rd finger that's making that transition onto the next string above. Once we've done the 2nd string, we're then going to basically play the same sort of pattern on the 3rd string, but the frets are slightly different. So if you know your A minor pentatonic scale shape number 1, you'll know that the 3rd string drops down to fret number 7. So that's where we're going to go to next. So with the 3rd finger, we're now going to hammer on the 3rd string on the 7th fret. So that'll be the note D. Same thing as before, we're going to now tap the 12th fret, which will be G. And just like we did before, we're going to pull off back down to the 3rd finger on the 7th fret now. And then from the third finger, we're going to pull off down to the first finger on fret number 5, which will be the note C. So it's basically the same pattern as before, but we just changed the shape slightly because of the note placements within the scale. So it's 7, tap 12, back down to 7, and then pull off to 5. So altogether, that sounds like this. So moving on to the 4th string, we're going to hammer on with that 3rd finger now to make that transition onto the 4th string. Same frets as before, so fret 7 on the 4th string. So that's A. Tap the 12th fret, which should be the note D. Pull off back down to the 7th fret where your 3rd finger was on A. And then pull off back down to the 1st finger on fret number 5. So again, you just want to make sure you got that 1st finger ready by the time you finish the tap and pull off back to the 3rd finger. So on the 4th string, that will sound like this. So it's very much the same sort of pattern with hammer-ons and taps all the way through. So if I take it from the top, so far it sounds like this. So other than the 2nd string where we're tapping the note B on the 12th fret, all of the other notes are just simply from the minor pentatonic scale. Okay, so we're coming towards the end of the lick now, and what we're going to do here is we're going to jump back onto the 3rd string, and we're going to hammer on with the 3rd finger back onto fret 7 again, like we did previously, and then tap the 12th fret, so that will be D with the hammer, and then tap the 12th fret, which will be G. And just like before, we're going to pull off back to the 3rd finger. And this is where we're going to introduce a string bend, and it's a tone bend, and we're going to go from the note D up to E. So if you want to work on your string bending and improve your pitching, you can just simply play the single note on the 7th fret, D. Play the 9th fret. And then you can go back and listen for that note as you start to reach it. And that's what we're aiming to do there with that little tone bend. So here's that little lick again on the 3rd string. All right, so this is where things get a little bit more interesting. Once we've done the bend up to E, we're then going to tap the 12th fret again, but because we've already bent the string, we're actually going to hear the note A when we tap the 12th fret as opposed to G, because the note's actually already bent by a tone. So let's see what that sounds like. All right, so you just got to make sure you maintain that bend on the 7th fret so that when you tap the 12th fret, you're going to hear that note A as you go for that tap. So once we tap the 12th fret whilst holding that bend on the 7th fret, we're then going to pull off back to the 3rd finger whilst, again, still holding the bend. And then we're going to release the bend back down to D. So from the transition on the 3rd string, that will sound like this. Okay, so last couple of notes. Once we've released the bend back down to fret 7, we're then going to finish off with one last bend back up to fret number 9, and then we're going to move the tapping hand down now to fret number 10, and because we're going to hold the string as a tone bend, when we tap fret 10, we're actually going to sound out the note G as opposed to F, which is what you would get on fret number 10 if you weren't bending the string. So from the transition onto the 3rd string, that will sound like this. Okay, so if we have a listen to the lick all the way through now from the top, I'll play it nice and slow, and then I'll play it a little bit quicker. So something else I do at the end there is just to add a little bit of vibrato to the final tapped note whilst holding the bend. So that's all really coming from the left hand, moving the string back and forth, and then just allowing the tapping finger to move gently with the string. You can use a little bit of the tapping finger to help pull the string, but mostly there I'm using the left hand for the vibrato technique. I'll just play the last bend and the tapped note and then add that vibrato so you can get a better look at what's going on there. Well, there we have it, guys. I hope you have fun learning this tapping lick in the key of A minor. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button and maybe think about subscribing to the channel. And if you hit the bell icon, then you'll get notifications on all my future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.